General Hospital spoilers reveal that Carly is reaching a breaking point, emotionally, mentally, and perhaps even spiritually. For years, she has stood beside Sonny through violence, betrayal, and impossible decisions. She's endured the weight of loving a man whose life has always straddled the edge of law and chaos. But now, as the brutal feud between Sonny and Sidwell grows darker and more destructive, Carly finds herself gripped by a level of fear she hasn't felt in a very long time. This time, it's not about territory or betrayal. It's not about business or reputation. This time, it's about the survival of the people she loves, and that's a cost Carly can no longer tolerate. The recent danger Michael and Christina have faced has pushed Carly into a state of quiet panic that's beginning to boil over. First, the fire at Charlie's pub nearly cost Christina her life. Carly stood in the hospital hallway, helpless, watching her daughter-in-law's terrified face and Sonny's blood-soaked silence. And then came the growing threats aimed at Michael, subtle at first, then disturbingly direct. Carly sees the fear behind his composed expressions, sees how Willow is beginning to withdraw. How their family dynamic is starting to crumble under pressure neither of them asked for. These aren't random incidents. They're part of the slow unraveling that always comes when Sonny goes to war. And now, Carly fears this may be the war that finally takes everything. For Carly, the emotional toll is mounting. She's been here before, seen blood on her doorstep, caskets lowered into the ground, children raised in the shadow of constant danger. But something feels different this time. It's not just the violence. It's the tone of it. Sidwell isn't playing by any familiar rules. He's methodical, emotionless, and precise. He doesn't want Sonny's empire. He wants to destroy his legacy. He's targeting Sonny's identity, and that means he's targeting the people Sonny built that legacy around, Michael, Christina, even Sasha and Daisy by association. It's psychological warfare. And it's working. Carly sees the consequences everywhere. Christina is emotionally distant, hiding pain under forced smiles. Michael is more guarded than ever. And Jocelyn, trying to remain strong, has begun to ask questions that Carly doesn't want to answer. Questions about what happens if this never ends. What happens if Sonny doesn't survive? What happens if they don't? These fears are fueling something new in Carly, a transformation born from desperation. She's no longer content to be the voice of reason behind closed doors. She's ready to confront Sonny head-on. And that confrontation is coming faster than either of them expected. Carly is preparing to ask Sonny to do the one thing she knows he won't want to hear, to walk away. To leave Port Charles. To step back not just from the violence, but from the life he's always known. It's not an ultimatum. It's not a punishment. It's a plea from a woman who has seen too much. Carly isn't asking for herself. She's asking for Michael. For Christina. For Jocelyn. For Sasha, who is barely holding herself together as she tries to flee with Daisy in the wake of chaos that may or may not be connected to Sonny's vendetta. Carly is terrified that the longer Sonny stays, the more people will fall. And this time, she's not willing to let fate decide who survives. The pressure she's placing on Sonny is intense. And it's deeply personal. Sonny is being forced to choose between his instinct, to fight, to dominate, to win, and the people he swore to protect. It's a line he's rarely been asked to walk. And for Carly, watching him hesitate, watching him put pride before peace, is becoming unbearable. What's more devastating is that Carly isn't even sure Sonny can change. Deep down, she fears he's too far gone. That this war with Sidwell is feeding something inside him, something angry, unresolved, maybe even self-destructive. She sees the shadows growing in him. The sleepless nights. The paranoia. The silence. And she knows what comes next. If Sonny doesn't walk away, he won't stop. And if he doesn't stop, someone will die. This growing obsession, this desperation to save her family, is slowly consuming Carly. She's trying to hold everything together, but every day brings new damage. She's starting to unravel behind her calm exterior, haunted by the fear that she's about to lose it all. Haunted by the idea that this might be the war Sonny doesn't survive. And if she can't stop him, she'll have to watch the destruction unfold, powerless to protect the people she's already lost too much to. Her pressure on Sonny is becoming more urgent, more emotional. She's pleading, not negotiating. But Sonny, proud, wounded, driven by rage and vengeance, may not be able to hear her. He may only see her concern as weakness, her desperation as betrayal. And that's what scares Carly most. That in trying to save him, she'll lose him in another way, not to death, but to the darkness that's always lingered just beneath his surface. This is no longer just a crime story. It's a psychological war zone, and Carly is standing in the middle of it, trying to hold the line, trying to pull her family back from the edge. But every hour, that line gets thinner. Every moment she waits, the risks get greater. The town is watching. The enemies are circling. And Sonny, the man she's loved, feared, protected, and battled, may be beyond saving. Unless he listens. Unless he chooses peace. Unless, just this once, he lets go of the war before it takes everything from them both. Carly has finally reached a point of no return, a place carved by years of pain, fear, and the kind of relentless pressure only a mother and protector can carry. The escalating war between Sonny and Sidwell has crossed every boundary she once thought would protect the people she loves. It's no longer about Sonny's empire, or his pride, or even his instinct to dominate and defend. It's about survival. It's about the very real danger creeping into every corner of their lives. Christina nearly died in a fire that was clearly meant as a warning. Michael, once distant from Sonny's world, is now being pulled into threats and decisions that haunt his every move. Jocelyn is watching from the sidelines, more aware than anyone realizes, and Sasha is preparing to disappear with Daisy. Convinced that the only path to safety is one that leads far away from Port Charles. Carly sees it all. And what she sees terrifies her more than any enemy ever could. The realization that Sonny is no longer a shield for their family, he has become the storm itself. For weeks, Carly has tried to reason with him. To explain, to warn, to beg. She has stood beside him. Hoping he would recognize the growing damage, hoping he would pull back before something irreversible happened. But the deeper Sonny digs into this war with Sidwell, the more detached he becomes from the man she once knew. Carly isn't watching Sonny fight, she's watching him unravel, consumed by vengeance, pride, and the unspoken belief that he can outmaneuver an enemy who plays by no rules. She sees the obsession in his eyes, the coldness in his tone, the way he refuses to admit that this time he may have gone too far. So now, Carly is finished hoping. She's finished asking. She's issuing an ultimatum. Sonny has to leave Port Charles. It isn't a suggestion. It's a final, unwavering demand. He must walk away, not for her, not for himself, but for the people still clinging to the wreckage of their shared history. He must remove himself from the line of fire, from the web of violence. From the battlefield he helped create but can no longer control. And Carly has chosen the only place she believes might still offer a chance at peace, Nixon Falls. The irony is not lost on her. Nixon Falls was once a symbol of everything Carly resented. It was the place Sonny forgot her, forgot their family, forgot who he was. But now, it's become the last remaining sanctuary. In Nixon Falls, he wasn't Sonny Corinthos the mob boss. He was Mike, the man who lived quietly, who didn't carry the weight of blood or power or revenge. Carly once hated that man. Now, she's praying he returns to him. She tells him plainly, either he leaves and goes to Nixon Falls, or she will walk away for good. There will be no more discussions, no more compromises. No more illusions that they can survive this war as they are. It's not just about Sidwell anymore. It's about the madness this feud has unleashed, the madness that has seeped into their children's lives, into the very air of their home. Carly is watching her family fracture in slow motion. And she knows that the next time something breaks, it won't be fixable. That's what haunts her. That's what fuels the firmness in her voice as she lays out her demand. Sonny, of course, resists. He hears her words as betrayal. He believes stepping away is surrender. That leaving town, even temporarily, means letting Sidwell win. But Carly doesn't care about Sidwell's ego or Sonny's pride. She cares about Christina breathing freely again. About Michael being able to walk through town without looking over his shoulder. About Jocelyn focusing on her future instead of watching her world burn. She cares about Sasha being able to raise Daisy without fear. And if Sonny can't understand that, then maybe he's no longer the man she once loved. The pressure she puts on him is immense, and it comes from a place of deep, raw fear. Every moment Sonny stays in Port Charles, the threat escalates. Every hour that passes, Carly imagines another call from the hospital, another emergency, another life lost to a fight they didn't ask for. This isn't her being dramatic. This is her trying to prevent a funeral. And yet, Sonny doesn't flinch. He's too wrapped up in the war, too consumed by the need to win. And that's the most terrifying part of all, he can't see how much he's already lost. For Carly, this ultimatum is not about control, it's about reclaiming agency over a life that has spun too far out of her hands. It's about refusing to sit by and watch history repeat itself. She has lost too much, buried too many dreams, and sacrificed too many years to the chaos that always follows Sonny Corinthos. She won't let it happen again. If sending him to Nixon Falls is the only way to stop this cycle, then she will do it, no matter how much it costs her emotionally. Because the alternative is losing everyone else, and that she cannot survive. She isn't naive. She knows Sonny may refuse. She knows he may accuse her of abandonment, of turning her back. But she's prepared for that. Because if he refuses to go, if he insists on staying and dragging them all deeper into this nightmare, then Carly will be the one to walk away. This time, she won't fight. She won't chase. She won't look back. Sonny may believe he's fighting for his family. But Carly knows the truth, he's fighting for his pride. And pride can't raise children. It can't protect the innocent. It can't stop a bullet. The only thing that can save what's left of their family now is distance. And whether Sonny agrees or not, Carly is already packing the emotional bags. She's already preparing for life without him, because she has to. Because she's no longer willing to sacrifice her future, or their children's future, to feed a legacy built on violence and fear. So now the choice lies with Sonny. He can leave and find a way to protect his family from afar. Or he can stay and watch everything he's ever loved disappear, one piece at a time. Either way, Carly has spoken. The ultimatum is real. The clock is ticking. And the storm shows no signs of stopping. Sonny's decision to leave Port Charles and seek temporary refuge in Nixon Falls, under the quiet care of Phyllis, was supposed to be a de-escalation, a way to protect his loved ones. To step back from the chaos and break the cycle of retaliation that had already nearly cost Christina her life and pushed Michael to the brink. But the truth is, Sonny didn't leave his war behind. He carried it with him, buried deep in his chest like a smoldering ember. His hatred for Sidwell isn't fading in exile, it's intensifying. And while his physical presence may have shifted, his rage is growing louder, more obsessive, and more volatile by the hour. Nixon Falls, once a place of peace and forgetfulness, is no longer a sanctuary. It's becoming a pressure cooker. And Phyllis, compassionate as she is, can sense it. Sonny walks the quiet streets, but in his mind, he's still in Port Charles, still plotting, still replaying every insult, every injury. Every loss Sidwell has caused. He remembers Natalia's funeral, Christina's burned skin, Michael's anxious silence, and Sasha's tearful departure. These are not just memories, they're triggers. Every moment in Nixon Falls feels like time stolen, not time granted. And so Sonny begins to plan, not just his return, but his revenge. The longer he's away, the more the distance twists into a cruel kind of fuel, pushing him toward a new, more dangerous version of himself, one that is no longer satisfied with winning battles but wants to end the war for good. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, Carly is feeling the weight of her own choice pressing harder than ever. She thought sending Sonny away would stop the bloodshed, that a physical separation might be the only way to create emotional distance from the storm. But instead of peace, she's finding herself entangled in a new war, one she never expected to fight. Because now, with Sonny gone, the burden of protecting what's left of their fractured family falls entirely on her shoulders. And for the first time, she's realizing that Sidwell might not have been targeting Sonny after all. He might have been targeting her, or at least, what Sonny leaves behind. Carly is now the face of resistance. She's the protector of Christina, Michael, Jocelyn, Sasha, and Daisy. And in Sonny's absence, she's also become the primary target. Port Charles has never been kind to power vacuums. And with Sonny out of sight, Carly's presence becomes the lightning rod for everything left unresolved. The criminal underworld watches. Old rivals whisper. Even allies question her ability to hold the line. And Sidwell, cunning, strategic, relentless, sees an opening. Carly is no longer just the woman who asked Sonny to walk away. She's the last line of defense between Sidwell and total dominance. This new dynamic is forcing Carly to evolve fast. She doesn't have Sonny's muscle or his history of intimidation. What she has is instinct, grit, and an unshakable will to keep her children and her legacy safe. And what's worse, what keeps her awake at night, is the creeping suspicion that Sonny, despite agreeing to leave, is still moving pieces behind the scenes. She hears whispers that he's made calls, sent messages, spoken to Jason in coded language. That he hasn't truly stopped. That he's preparing something big. Something irreversible. Carly now finds herself in the middle of a dangerous paradox. She told Sonny to leave to stop the madness, but his absence has created a different kind of madness, one that she must now tame without him. And if Sonny's vendetta pushes him to act from afar, if he orchestrates a return soaked in blood, it will be her name written beside the fallout. The irony cuts deep. Carly, who once stood in the background of Sonny's wars, is now the unwilling general of a new battlefront. And as each day passes, the weight of that role threatens to crush her. What's unfolding now is more than just a crime saga, it's a psychological collapse, a breakdown of every rule that once kept their world spinning. Sonny is in Nixon Falls, but his heart is still on fire. Carly is holding the line, but she's standing on quicksand. Phyllis, kind and steady, begins to notice Sonny's twitchy silences, his explosive outbursts, his sudden mood swings. And she starts to wonder if she made a mistake letting him stay. Because what Sonny has brought with him isn't healing, it's fury in disguise. The situation is spiraling. Sidwell is moving closer to the Corinthos circle than ever before. Carly's allies are becoming liabilities. Michael and Christina are questioning whether their family will ever be whole again. And Sonny, still burning with hatred, may be about to make a move from afar that will detonate everything Carly tried to protect. What began as a plan for safety is turning into a countdown to destruction. And when the fuse burns down, it won't be Nixon Falls or Port Charles that suffers, it'll be everyone in between. In the end, Carly's desperate attempt to shield her family may be the very thing that draws them into deeper danger. Because when hatred lives longer than distance, and vengeance refuses to rest, even exile can't stop a man like Sonny. And even love may not be enough to save what remains. The story of Sonny temporarily leaving Port Charles was supposed to mark the beginning of de-escalation. A rare opportunity for peace after weeks of spiraling violence. But instead of bringing calm, Sonny's absence has ignited a level of chaos that no one anticipated. What was meant to be a protective retreat has now become the epicenter of a chain reaction, proving that his influence, even from afar, continues to fuel one of the most unstable and unpredictable periods Port Charles has seen in years. This isn't a pause. This is the fuse burning faster than ever. Without Sonny's direct presence, there is no anchor, no central force to either contain or absorb the blows being exchanged between enemies. Sidwell, emboldened by the perceived power vacuum, has accelerated his efforts. His reach is growing, his tactics more dangerous, and his strategy is more psychological than ever before. For him, Sonny's departure isn't a victory, it's an invitation to strike harder. It's clear now that Sidwell was never after Sonny alone. His true goal is to dismantle Sonny's world piece by piece, beginning with the people Sonny left behind. And those people are unraveling. Carly, who once thought Sonny's exit would shield their family, is now carrying the crushing weight of protecting them all. Michael is watching his father's war bleed into his own life, forced to make impossible decisions about safety and loyalty. Christina, traumatized by the fire, still walks with the scent of smoke in her memory. Sasha is breaking under the pressure, ready to flee Port Charles altogether. And even Jocelyn, hardened by experience, is beginning to question whether the legacy Sonny built is worth the pain it continues to cause. Every corner of their lives is being infected by fallout, and no one knows when, or if, it will end. What's even more dangerous is the illusion that Sonny's physical absence has removed him from the equation. In truth, he remains emotionally tethered to the battle. His fury towards Sidwell has only deepened, growing more calculated in the shadows of Nixon Falls. There, away from the eyes of Port Charles, Sonny is no longer distracted by daily logistics. He has time to think, to plan, to obsess. And what's emerging in the quiet of Exile is not the peaceful Mike Carly had hoped would resurface, but a darker version of Sonny, one who wants to end this war no matter the cost. This is the true madness now overtaking the narrative, that Sonny's retreat was never really a surrender, but a tactical step back before a bigger, more brutal play. And while the people of Port Charles are struggling to maintain a sense of order, the war machine continues to spin in silence. Each day that passes without resolution brings new tension, and every moment of calm feels like a pause before detonation. The new change is unfolding, the way characters are shifting. Alliances are breaking, and fear is spreading, only serve to highlight how much further things have spiraled in Sonny's absence. This isn't stability. It's controlled collapse. And no one, not even Sonny himself, may be able to stop it once the next move is made. In every glance exchanged across a room, in every whisper shared behind closed doors, there's one shared understanding among the characters who remain: things are not getting better. They're getting worse. The change that was meant to bring healing has instead brought uncertainty. And with it, the undeniable sense that this story is accelerating towards something much more dangerous. What comes next won't be diplomacy or surrender, it will be a reckoning. And the question now isn't if Sonny returns to Port Charles, it's how much of it will be left when he does.